Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Instant Replay. I'm your host, Dave Garner, and for the next hour, we're going to be talking about a lot of high school football. It is a championship edition here on this Monday morning, October the 22nd, 2018. If you're watching this show on Monday, you are indeed watching it live, and we appreciate you being with us. If you're watching on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or any time in between, then you are watching one of our encore replays. And of course, we're always on demand at FYNTV.com, and we appreciate you guys being with us this morning. Again, the Instant Replay, really it's North Georgia's only online weekly live sports program. And so we appreciate you guys being inside with us here this morning. And you can always email us information at teamfynsports@fetchernews.com. Again, teamfynsports@fetchernews.com. And you can always call us as well, 706-889-9700. Again, our phone number is 706-889-9700. We've got a great show lined up for you today. It's action-packed, no time to waste. We got to jump right on in and get going. We are expected to hear from Chris Parker at around 10:15 this morning. So again, we're going to talk a little bit about the Dragons' big win on Friday night against Ridgeland, and then later in the show, BKP will join us in studio as we break down that contest from Friday night. And in the meantime, we got a lot of other things to get to as well, including state softball, volleyball, middle school football, youth football, you name it, a little bit of everything. But first things first, behind the glass this morning, we've got Josh and Luther back with us as well. And Josh again on the controls, Luther Kinsey producing as part of the Team FYN sports crew. And man, I tell you what, gentlemen, great weekend. A lot of things going on at all levels. World Series lineup set. Red Sox, Dodgers getting set to go at it. A big NFL Sunday, of course. And the Atlanta Hawks cranking up. Atlanta United with a win over the weekend. I mean, take your pick. I mean, what do you talk about? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff here.
Yeah, Atlanta United's looking good. They're still on track to have a good season there with that win. I think it was over Chicago.
Yeah.
Also, we had the Hawks picking up their first win of the season over
That was
Cleveland.
big over the Cavs, yeah.
Trey Young, our first-round pick, he had a big game, so that was nice to see.
And putting up 133 points. Now, I know the Cavs are not the Cavs anymore without LeBron, but still, putting up 133 on anyone is pretty awesome, and that's what the Hawks did to grab their first win. Of course, they're at home. The home opener in the newly renovated State Farm Arena is Wednesday night. The Atlanta United, as you mentioned, Josh, still a point up over the Red Bulls in the Supporters Shield standings. One more match this weekend coming up against Toronto FC. If they win that one, they are the Supporters Shield champs heading into the postseason. Hopefully, they can avoid the knockout rounds and all that kind of stuff. So we know how that goes. Luther, I know that you probably don't get a chance to watch a lot of regional or national stuff because you're too busy with local sports, man. Youth football, middle school championships. I mean, it's just, it goes on and on for you, man. It never stops.
Yeah, well, I got two comments on national. Number one, congratulations to Atlanta United for setting the single season attendance record.
Yep.
Over the weekend. And
so you do. So you keep up with it. Yeah, you keep up. You're a
try.
man of all sports, all trades. So,
and this is where I probably get fired and beat up. I learned that myself and the Yankees have something in common. We both get to sit at home and watch the World Series. I
was going to say, whatever you're about to say, just make sure you're aware that BKP is on the other side of the wall.
He is, and and I'm going to tell you, the Yankees got a very strong team, and when it comes to them in Boston, it seems like every year now it's a matchup that you just don't know. I mean, both teams are great. Don't have a favorite between the two because I am a Braves fan 100%. But
right.
It's always a great matchup when those two play. So you never know who's going to be sitting at home watching. So. Great seasons by both, obviously. The Red Sox going to the Dodgers. But on a local note, yes, very busy, staying on top of it all I can. Thank the good Lord above for internet and being able to track some of these things that I can't make it to. Youth football, getting rounding up, as you said. We've got middle school championships, Pickens, just kudos to those guys, for a great season so far, and we'll continue. Just busy, and I love it.
Let's talk about the Mountain League real quick, is before we even get into the high school football. And we're going to talk about Mountain League. We're going to talk about youth later in the show as well. But let's talk about these Mountain League middle school championships. 7th grade championship the other night saw Pickens over Dawson 38-12. As if the Dragon program hasn't already achieved just an unbelievable amount of success. Now you've got the kids that are coming up. The 7th graders winning the championship over Dawson. And in the 8th grade championship, it was Dawson County. Speaking of another high school program that is really, up here right now, the 8th grade, the incoming Tigers winning over Fannin the other night, 20-14. That's good news for the Rebels as well. I mean, I know not the game itself, but for the middle school feeding into the high school, those 8th graders are going to be the more immediate future. Man, I tell you what, just some awesome things in the Mountain League football going on right now, and the middle school champions have been decided.
They have, and as Coach Parker's told us, on the live show with him on Tuesday night, and off camera as well, he is very big. He's not only athletic director for the high school, but he has the whole county. And he's mentioned, Zach Goss came up through that same program, and look where he's at now and where he's going, Tennessee Tech after he graduates. These guys are the future, and you can see it even in the younger ones, as we'll, as you said, we'll talk about it a little bit later. He's in the midst. He's got these guys working hard and running, and learning the offense that the high school uses, and it's they're dominating across the board, pretty much as a whole there. And
right.
The feeder program, so to speak, and having one athletic director to really focus on that will help these high schools in the future. And it's making these younger athletes better as well, because they're learning something other than just not saying all of them do this, but run the ball at the middle, run the ball at the middle, run the ball at the middle. They're learning
right.
these more complex offenses at an early age, which sets them up at the high school level.
Right, absolutely, and it becomes second nature after that. Once they get to the high school level, they can start working on other stuff. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations again to all of our Mountain League teams, and of course our champions in 7th and 8th grade, Pickens and Dawson, respectively. And we're looking forward to seeing those guys as they bump up to the next level. Speaking of high school football, again alive and well on Friday night, and obviously just really a couple weeks now, or maybe even just a week left for most of our teams in the regular season. And on Friday night, let's run down the scores real quick. Northwest Whitfield over Gilmer 40-17. The Bobcats, though, showing some flashes of offense on Friday night. Denmark over White County 28-7. That game is important, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, because that game could determine ultimately the Pickens Dragons' first round opponent. We'll clear that up with Coach Parker here hopefully in a few minutes. Daresville over Murray County 34-6 on Friday night. North Hall all over Lumpkin. It wasn't the Indians' night. North Hall, a very powerful team this year, 70-0 the score in that one. We saw North Hall beat 7A Cherokee earlier this year. We knew that would be a tough game going in. Dawson County all over Fannin on Friday night. The Rebels just overmatched against a very good Tiger team, 53-7 the final there. Union County, we talk about the Dragons. We're going to focus on the Dragons. They've locked it down already. But how about this Union County team? Next week, in the next week or two, we may very well be talking about the Panthers Region Championship as well. 56-0 over Oglethorpe County on Friday night. North Murray had the bye. Commerce over Towns 49-7 on Friday night. And of course, our game of the week, the one that we're going to be talking about over the next two segments, Pickens and Ridgeland. And it was the Dragons with a 31-21 victory over the Panthers of Ridgeland. And this has always been that team. We talked about it's kind of like checking off the list for the Dragons. They checked off the list against Heritage. Checked off the list against Northwest Whitfield last week. And so Ridgeland coming in was the game that everyone had circled earlier in the year, especially looking ahead to what has happened over the last several years historically in this region. It's been Ridgeland's, dominance, basically. So this was the High Five, Fox 5 Sports Game of the Week. They've already been the team of the week, have the Pickens Dragons. So a lot of attention, even Atlanta media attention, placed on this game Friday night, and the Dragons did not disappoint. It was an unbelievable game. It was 7-7, 10-7, 14-10, back and forth. The Dragons finally able to pull away a little bit in the second half and put just enough distance between them and Ridgeland to make it a two-score game, and that's how it ended. Congratulations to the Dragons again. More on this game coming up in just a moment. And Murphy over Swain on Friday night across state lines in North Carolina. The Bulldogs just keep it rolling. We may very well be talking about not only a region or a conference title, but a state title at the end of the year. I know Coach Gentry's like, oh, hold on everything. No, we don't want to get that far ahead. But this Murphy team is rocking and rolling. They beat up on Swain 49-7. Almost 400 yards of rushing by Murphy on Friday night, and that was less than 20 minutes of possession time. Unbelievable. 396 yards, 18 and a half minutes of possession time for Murphy on Friday night. Needless to say, a very dominating performance by the Bulldogs, and that's a look at what went down on Friday night. As we mentioned later in the show, we're going to talk about youth football in our final segment. Luther's going to join me out here in the time that we have remaining, hopefully, and we're going to break down this week's matchups because for the Pickens Dragons and for some others around the state, this is the final regular season week of the year, but for most teams, there's still 2 weeks left, so we're going to break it down for you, let you know who's where on Friday night. We're going to talk a little bit about our coaches' shows. We're going to mention a blurb about college football, and we also have our state softball and volleyball updates for you coming up here in the next segment, but we are expected to hear from Chris Parker on the other side of this commercial break. We thank you for being with us. That is segment 1 of this week's Instant Replay. Back with more. Stay with us. We've still got an action-packed 45 minutes plus still ahead. Stay with us. Appreciate you watching as we highlight and promote student athletes in a positive way. We're back in a minute.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN 10 for your special deal today at Circuit World. Back here on the instant replay, it is Region Championship Monday. That's right. The Pickens Dragons, of course, capturing the Region 6 4A title on Friday night with a win over Ridgeland 31-21. And joining us right now live on this morning's program is the head football coach of the Pickens Dragons, Chris Parker. Coach, first off, congratulations. Obviously a big win on Friday night, to say the least, against a Ridgeland team that has, kind of been that team to beat in the region. But you guys with a big home game, a lot of attention on this football game, even coming out of Atlanta. Talk about, first of all, just the atmosphere of this game, the crowd, the scenario. I mean, just everything that played out, man. It had to be exciting.
Yeah, it was. It was. Thank you. Appreciate you guys having us on. Really was a special night. Kind of stars kind of aligned for us this year. Had 7 home games, and we had a lot of players back. And we knew we were playing Ridgeland on senior night at home. What could have been for the region championship, we'd known that for the whole year. And it turned out it did. All those things kind of worked out. And, and so, really proud of the community and cheerleaders, band, everybody created a really good environment where I thought was a genuine home field advantage for us. And, playing a team like Ridgeland, really talented, and they could score on every play. And really fast on defense, and so you knew it was going. Anything we could get that was an edge, we wanted to take. And I thought it was great to be at home. It was a really neat environment.
Absolutely. Your first year, 2012. This is your 7th season. We just got through talking about the 7th grade, of course, from Pickens winning the Mountain League Middle School Championship. You guys have taken over, K through 12 football, and it's been a great transition. And now we're starting to see the kind of the pinnacle of that this year. We were joking around with Zach Goss and some of those guys, and you basically came in when the guys that you have now as seniors were in that 7th grade, and now here they are coming through the program. Talk about what it means for you as a coach, but also for those players, and you haven't been with that group now this long, and now here you guys are in 2018 as region champs.
Yeah, it's special, and it's special for a lot of people, and for me, I think about all the teams we had before too. I think about our teams in 2012 and 13 and 14 and 15, and all the times we were we were close, or we were building a program, and we had to just kind of keep building. And, and it's a lot of work to work with the middle school when they judge you based solely on Friday nights. But we try to spend as much time as we can with our middle school team, with our 9th grade, our JV, for this exact reason. We've been throwing fades to Zach Goss since he was about 12 years old, with us helping him. So, Michael Burrow and Trevon Hawkins and all those kids. So it's really special that they, I guess, are the group that did it. But, I really felt like Friday we kind of, we were able to win that region championship for a lot of people, and a lot of them that didn't dress out Friday. And that was kind of a neat feeling, to see that happen, see so many people that have been around our program for years, players, coaches, supporters, whatever, and just how happy they were, to see that, something they may have thought would have never happened.
Right. And we're going to talk more about the game in depth tomorrow night, Tuesday night, during the Pickens Power half-hour Dragon Talk, and looking forward to sitting down with you guys on that one. But this is the first Dragon team to win 9 games. Several years in the past, there were a lot of 8-win seasons. You guys are now at 9-0, and I know you guys still have a game this week against Lafayette. They've obviously played well, so I know you guys don't want to look too far ahead. But for the fans at home, for folks like Luther and myself, and those of us making our postseason plans here in a couple weeks. You guys obviously are going to be the number 1 seed, taking on the 4 seed out of Region 4, I believe. It looks like it could be a
Region
Denmark
7.
or
Region 7, yeah.
Or Region 7.
Denmark or White County and West Hall. All of those teams are in the mix. It'd be one of those 3 teams.
Right, absolutely. So we'll have to let the season kind of play out over this last week to see who that might be. But obviously, the game Friday night, it was 7-7, 10-7, 14-10, kind of a back and forth game. You guys really came out in the second half, established the momentum in that football game. Talk about the flow of that game. What Ridgeland tried to throw at you guys, what you guys threw at Ridgeland to try to give them some different looks, and just talk about the flow of the game.
Well, it's very interesting that, it's very interesting that the game went very similar to how we thought it would go. We knew we'd be in a real tough fight early with them being so athletic. We knew we'd have to hit a couple trick plays, and we did. And then we thought when the game settled in, we were going to have to just kind of run the ball and kind of hold the ball from them. They're so good on offense that we knew, we like to say we're good on offense and we like to score a lot of points, but it was really important that we just kind of possessed the ball. And, we played a little slower, and we went on a couple of 16, 17 play drives. In the third quarter, we got the ball coming out up, I think, 24-14. We scored right before the half on a long pass. Right after a block kick, same kid, Caleb Ray, blocked the kick and then went and got a long pass the next play and put us up 24-14, and we got the ball, and we went, I think, seven minutes or so with the ball to start the third quarter and scored. And, then they ran 3 or 4 plays. We stopped them, and then we got the ball back and did it again. Right. And that was kind of exactly what we wanted to do, just kind of possess the ball and keep it away from them. They're so good in space that if they didn't have the ball, they couldn't score. And, CJ made some great runs on 3rd and 4th down, to keep the chains moving. And, we just try to play a little more physical, be a little better in the box. We usually run outside and throw the ball a little more than we did Friday. But, we like to think we're one of those teams that, we just do whatever we got to do to win. So if we need to run it 70 times and we run it 70 times, this week against Lafayette, we might throw it 70 times. We're just going to do whatever we think is a good matchup for us. We got a lot of good players, and so we don't worry about who's getting the ball or what's going on. We just worry about where the better matchup is for us. And Friday, it was really in the box where we could just kind of run between the tackles and run CJ in there. He had about 30 carries, so good night for him.
Absolutely. Let's talk real quick, finally, and then we'll let you go because I know you're right in the middle of the school day as well and a lot going on. But Lafayette this week, obviously, the work is not done. Obviously, you guys are 9-0, but how do you, knowing, that you guys kind of have it wrapped up on the region side, obviously, you guys want to go undefeated. I don't think there's any doubt you want to win every game you play. How do you keep your guys focused this week to make sure that they kind of still feel like they have something to play for? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I guess I can tell you next Tuesday on the show if I did a good job or not. I will know. But the plan is to, our kids have been really resilient. We just like to play. We just want to be 1-0 this week. The reason we're the region champs is we've come in and played well every week. And so I assume we're going to do that again. But we're going to challenge the guys, starting this afternoon with, getting them. The game doesn't matter Friday in the region standings, but it's going to matter to us.
Right.
We want to keep winning. We worked hard to be 9-0. We want to go out and execute and have a chance to be 10-0. And then, we're off the last week. So most people are playing their 9th game this week. We're playing our 10th because our off week is next week. So, this is the last time we're going to get to play before we are in the playoffs, and it's a do or die game. And so, it's important we set the tone and keep playing. So Lafayette's better than they've been. We expect it to be a game Friday. We expect it to be a challenge. See if we can come back from that big, emotional win. That sometimes when you see teams get those, they struggle the next week.
Right.
And so we're just going to lay it out there and tell them that's usually what happens. Now we've got to try to be better than that. So we'll see if we can. That's the challenge.
Absolutely. Well, we will. I think that's a great approach, no doubt. Dragons back in action Friday on the road at Lafayette to wrap up their regular season before the week off, and then, of course, round 1 of the GHSA playoffs. Coach, congratulations. Thanks for taking out a little piece of your Monday morning for us, and we'll see you Tuesday night on the Coaches Show.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave. Take care.
Absolutely. Once again, Coach Chris Parker, the head football coach of the Pickens Dragons, his team, region champions and Region 6-4A this year. And, of course, the Dragons on display one more time in the regular season on Friday night on the road at Lafayette. Should be a good ball game. We're going to switch gears in just a moment, talk a little high school softball and volleyball, and then after that we're going to bring BKP back in, though, to talk a little bit about that game because he was there on Friday night to watch the Dragons get that big win over Ridgeland to wrap things up mathematically for a region championship. We do thank Coach Parker for coming on with us and spending a few moments with us here on this Monday morning. Let's talk quickly about softball and volleyball before we hit that next break and bring BKP in. With a lot going on right now. That's the thing. We're talking about region championships. We're talking a lot of football, obviously, because that is big news, especially when we have a team in our local area that is receiving the kind of attention that we're getting. Union County's drawing a lot of attention. Panthers, Brian Allison doing a great job of, obviously, the Dragons, at 9-0. already capturing the title. That was a big game. A lot of eyes were on that ball game Friday night, but we can't forget about some of the other things going on in our local area. First round state softball action. We saw Union County, the 4 seed, they lost to Region 5, number 1 seed Heard County. Again, this is all first round action. Lumpkin County falling to Ringgold. That was a 2 versus 3 matchup right there in AAA. Also in Region 7 AAA, the number 4 seed Dawson County losing to the to the Region 6 champion Calhoun. And in 4A, we saw White County, the 3 seed out of Region 7, falling to the 2 seed Lafayette. So again, a lot of things going on in our local area with high school softball. Keep it right here as we continue to keep you updated on the local high school softball diamond. Most of our local area teams, though, basically going out in that first round. High school volleyball, though, not the case. We've got some round 2 teams for you. Let's recap first round real quick. Union County falling to Elite Scholars Academy. They were the region champs out of Area 5. Lumpkin County winning over Ringgold, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Lumpkin in a moment. Also, Dawson County picking up a big win in round 1 as well over Murray County. And then we've got North Murray falling to North Hall, White County falling to Lafayette, and Gilmer falling in round 1 to the number 1 seed Marist. Now, the Lady Cats, young team, but man, let me tell you what, made the top 4, got to the playoffs. They fell to Marist. Again, Marist, obviously, as we know, in just about any sport, they tend to dominate, especially in those quote-unquote secondary sports, that we talk about, like the volleyball and cross country and all those sorts of things. But even with football, we know they're stout. But congratulations to all of our local area teams. To be able to make it to the state tournament says a lot about the direction of these programs. We saw Gilmer in there this year. We saw White County in there this year. Union, Lumpkin, those guys continue in a lot of these different sports that we're talking about. They continue to make the grade and get into the postseason. Kudos to the coaches, the players, the staffs for getting there. Now, we're not done yet. Volleyball, again, second round to be played tomorrow or Tuesday, October the 23rd. If you're watching this show on Monday, I know I'm saying tomorrow. I'm kind of dating the show a little bit. So if you're watching on Monday, we're talking about Tuesday of this week. The number 4 seed Lumpkin will be at number 3 seed Jackson County out of Area 8. Again, Lumpkin out of Area 7. Again, volleyball, it's not necessarily regions. It's broken down into areas. Lumpkin County will be taking on Jackson County for a chance to go to the quarterfinals. Also, the number 3 seed out of Area 7, Dawson County. Lady Tigers, again, they're going to be going up against Calhoun, the Area 5 champ. Now, again, the road gets no easier for the Lady Tigers this week, but they're there, and anything can happen, especially in a sport like volleyball, where you get hot, you get on a little bit of a run. It's a game of streaks in a lot of instances. So congratulations to the Lumpkin County Lady Indians and Dawson County Lady Tigers on their round 2 appearance. And again, chance to go to the quarterfinals. We will have updates next week right here on the Instant Replay. Let you know how those teams did as we kind of wind the fall season down a little bit and start peeking ahead to basketball season and wrestling right around the corner. We're going to talk more about that next week as we get ready to go. Before we go to break, let's toss a couple of college football scores at you. Georgia Southern, a big one over New Mexico State over the weekend. Arkansas State over Georgia State, 51-35. They'll be Thursday night on ESPN. Will the Georgia State Panthers as they take on Coastal Carolina. Also, Georgia Southern taking on App State on Thursday on ESPNU. So a lot of Thursday football this week. And speaking of, Georgia Tech, they were on a bye this past weekend. They're playing on Thursday night on ESPN. So ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPNU will all have teams featured from the state of Georgia. I guess it just worked out that way. It must be Georgia week on ESPN. Speaking of Georgia, again, the Bulldogs with the bye this past weekend, but obviously a big showdown this weekend against the Florida Gators. I mean, that goes without saying. It's it's almost Halloween when you see that Georgia-Florida game pop up. Reinhardt, a big win over Bluefield College on Saturday, 48-6. Next, they're at home against Pikeville as the Reinhardt Eagles maintain their position in the top 10 rankings of NAIA, and the Berry College Vikings survive a double overtime scare against Millsaps, 28-21. The Vikings remain in the top 15 of Division III football. So basically, in the state of Georgia, you have a team from the state ranked in each of the divisions of college football. FBS, FCS, D2, D3, and NAI. I think that says a lot about the level of football we're playing here in the state of Georgia. All right, we're up against another break. That was our second quarter of the program. Our third quarter segment of the program is going to feature our very own BKP. He's with us in studio next, breaking down Pickens Ridgeland. Stay with us. Still plenty more show left right here on this Monday, October the 22nd, 2018. We'll be right back.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN 10 for your special deal today at Circuit World. Well, it's been an action-packed show already, and it's about to get even more action-packed. That's right, BKP in studio with us. Now RJ, he's got the polos going on, but you've got the coaching visor. And I mean, to be honest with you,
the Parker.
I like it. I like it. Is that your Halloween? You're going to be Coach Parker this year for Halloween? It might be a popular.
No, you ever see the visor, Dave, with the hair coming out of the top?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
This is real.
Yeah, I was going to say if he fussed it up a little bit, I could see that.
Exactly.
I could see that.
I had to do it for Coach Parker. Not really a visor guy, but I got to give it to him. I was down there Friday night. I remember when the guy took the reins down there for the Pickens Dragons, and I remember, pre-Parker and some of the struggles that the team was going through. And it's just, I've watched that program from the day he took the field. and I can't say enough. There's not enough time in the day to talk about that program and what's happening down there.
Right.
And I think you touched on something that I don't want to lose before we get started is the 7th grade team winning the Super Bowl for the Mountain Football League.
Right.
And how the kids today were the 7th graders when he took over the program.
Yeah.
And that is really the success to watch is when he came in, they made a very firm decision to have a football program.
Right.
Okay, and we'll talk about that with Union also, but you'll watch the teams, you've done it for years, and you could separate the teams that made that commitment for a program. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Instead of just building a team, they've built, hopefully a consistent winner, no doubt. But what that game on Friday night, though, was remarkable. I was watching a lot of social media stuff over the weekend. People were obviously posting videos and stuff. And I saw you right down there on the sideline, man, getting them coming to the sideline, just right there in the middle of it.
You know,
it was awesome feeling.
And I want to take the time this morning and give it to the Dragons. We've got some other games we're looking at, but I want to give it to the Dragons for just that. First time in school history to ever win a region championship, 9-0, and 9-0 on the year, beating Ridgeland. I want to give it to them, and I want to give it. Let's just do this. Let's just show a little of the celebration after the game. Josh, roll the celebration after the game real quick.
Love it.
I just had to do that. That's got about 4,500 views on Facebook and it's blowing up. Loved it. I'm walking through the crowd like this. They're getting their high five trophy from Fox 5. It was great. Loved it for the kids. Now, the other night, there's a guy that I don't know if we talk about enough. We do talk C.J. Stryker. I got an interview with him, and for good reason we do. And we talk about the other players. But this guy here, now I plan, Robert Davis, I plan to take this one clip and slow it down so you could see. This is just a highlight montage. We're giving it to the Pickens Dragons. I got about 9 clips smashed together, and I think 6 of the 9 are Robert Davis on the night, 2 touchdowns, running the ball. Now, Ridgeland's got a tough defense. This kid he's hitting these guys, and he's driving, and he's getting the extra yards. Let's roll my highlight film. Pickens morning there. Let's roll that.
Davis is number 23. Robert Davis on the carry to the end zone. Touchdown, Dragons!
Okay, I got to slow the one down. Robert, I'm going to slow the one down because he's coming through the line, and all of a sudden, I'm in the end zone, Dave. Robert's standing there. Robert Davis, number 2. And he's coming through, and it's almost like I can see in his mask. You know that one where you can see it? It's like, I know I didn't just lose that. And it's up in the air, 2 spins, and he pulls it back down the end zone.
Right.
So, again, all Pickens highlights here. I want to go to my interview with Robert Davis. I talked to him, Robert Davis, right after the show. Let's go to that right quick.
Here with number 2, running back, Pickens Dragons, Robert Davis. Talk about first how exciting it is and emotional for this Pickens Dragons' first region championship.
I mean, it's excited to win region championship, 31-21 against Ridgeland, team we lost to last year for the region championship. We did pretty good, worked on them all week, studied their plays, all over the break. We didn't have school, they had school. That was an advantage for them. We came out, did what we had to do, turned out to be the region champion. I mean, I can say my line did pretty good, my quarterback and my defense. They always did pretty good to stop Ridgeland.
All right, let me ask you a question, though. I was in the end of the end zone, and I got the video. What was going through your mind when that ball bobbled once or twice, and you brought it back in? That's what I want to know.
I didn't mean to, like, pop that ball up like that and catch it. But that deserved to be ESPN top 10.
You want that on the top 10?
Oh, yeah,
I'll tag it top 10, all right? Because that thing rolled a couple times, and I got
hit pretty hard, too.
Yes, it's almost like I can see your eyes like, I need to bring that back in, right? Congratulations, man, on that touchdown. Way to go. Good win, Robert. All right.
All right, there's Robert Jones. He wants that to be one of the top 10 highlights.
Right, yeah.
So I want to slow that one down. Now, here's what I like. I'm going to go to C.J. Stryker, and then we'll do a couple more things to close out here because I know you got a lot to do. But I'm going to go to C.J. Stryker. I want to play this one, and I know I'm running along, Dave. But they did not. I heard, Coach, in your interview earlier, they did not come out with the passing game, okay?
Right.
And what is brilliant about this coaching staff is they study film and find your weakness, okay? They knew they had a hole that they could run through, and they took advantage of that all night long. They pounded that ball. Stryker, like you said, I think he said one play. How many series did he had the ball? How many times? I forget. Coach told you.
I was going to say, yeah.
He said like an 18-play series
something like that, right, yeah.
But they
yeah.
were pounding that ball. Let's go with C.J. Stryker to wrap up this segment of our FYN Game of the Week.
Hey, I'm here with number 12, C.J. Stryker for the Dragons. First of all, C.J., let's talk about the excitement and how emotional it is to win Pickens Dragons' first region championship for the school.
You know, there's nothing like it. So many teams, 60, 70 some odd teams since like 1960 something come through here. None of them could do what we did tonight. And, you know, it feels amazing. Words can't describe it.
Let's talk about this Ridgeland defense. You carried the ball a lot tonight. Every time on the loudspeaker PA, we kept hearing ball kept by C.J. Stryker up the middle, power football. Talk about this game plan tonight and this defense you ran against.
You know, we thought they had a hole on the D-line that we could kind of take advantage of, and the offensive line, they did a good job executing, making all their blocks, opening up holes, and we were able to pound 5, 6, 7 yards a carry.
Okay, what are you guys looking at next week, going over to Lafayette and getting ready for a playoff game here?
You know, every game's a new game. Even though we won region championship, we want to finish 10-0. So we're going to go out excited and be ready the next week to play a playoff game.
Congratulations, CJ. Good luck next week.
Okay, Dave, I know you got to go. Look, that was our game of the week. I just want to say congratulations one more time to the Pickens Dragons, but they are going over to play the Lafayette Ramblers, and this is not the Lafayette team of yesterday. Coach said it. I heard it in your interview. Right. They're not. My only concern is these are always high school kids on every given day. They just won the big one. The hype was last night. How do you keep their heads in it to get the 10th one, and then an off week, and then go into playoffs? So Parker, coach has his work cut out for him the next 2 weeks, keeping these kids where they need to be. You know what I'm saying? Because
Absolutely.
That's what you got to remember.
Yeah.
The other thing is I know we're looking at their opponent. We will a little later. I'm going to go over Friday night. West Hall really hung the points on Lumpkin, like 70-0.
North Hall, 70s. Yeah.
North Hall 70-0, and then Dawson hung it on Fannin 53-7. But those two teams, I put it a better way, but they're trying to back into that 4th spot on 3A. So both of those teams, I've enjoyed watching them this year. Shane Williams over in Lumpkin, great coach. Chad Cheatham up here in Fannin, 2 good coaches, young teams in rural football. I'm going over there Friday night because the winner of that grabs number 4 spot and backs in. And
turns out to be a big game,
Yeah, that'll turn out to be a big one because they back in. It's going to be a lot to their school to get that 11th game. Whoever gets that 11th game is going to be big to both schools, and it's going to be a good one. And also, don't forget our last game. This is the game of the week, and our final game of the week. I will travel over to Tiger to watch Rabin, and they're both at 5-0 top. They're setting 5-0 Rabin and Panthers, Union Panthers, and that will be a game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That will be a lot of fun.
2 things. It's awesome, and all the football we watch, a lot of teams, but the 2 teams that we are focusing on right now with Union and with the Pickens Dragons, they're both state ranked. They're really high. They're really high state ranked. So we might have to do a week 12.
We might. Yeah, I was going to say.
We might have to go on the road. All the above.
All of the above.
We may have to go to the Dome.
Who knows?
You go to the next segment.
Could you imagine BKP inside Mercedes-Benz? I mean, it's just a place.
You go to the next segment, and I'll start working on the details of the Dome. All right.
That works. Thank you, BKP in studio with us, breaking down the Team FYN Sports Game of the Week. We'll take a time out and be back with our 4th quarter segment. Stay with us. More to come.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN 10 for your special deal today at Circuit World. And we thank you for being back with us right here on this week's edition of the Instant Replay. It's been a fun show, man. I tell you what, we've had a lot going on. BKP just in studio breaking down our Team FYN Sports Game of the Week, Pickens Dragons over Ridgeland. Earlier in the show, of course, we had Chris Parker, the head coach of the Dragons, on with us. We've talked about some middle school sports, high school softball, volleyball, who's where, and now we're in the fourth and final quarter segment with Luther Kinsey out here with me. And Luther, before we jump into who's where this week, high school-wise, just a reminder, youth football, the Super Bowl is coming up November the 3rd, and you guys will be all over it.
We will. We'll be live streaming every game from Dragon Stadium on November 3rd. Be airing on FYNTV.com. And right now, the youth portion, the 6U through 11U of the Mountain Football League are in their quarterfinals.
Right.
A few teams have already advanced to semifinals with byes and things like that, but it's a lot of good action.
Yeah.
A lot of good action.
November 3rd,
You ought to see these little 6-year-olds. I mean, you know, my daddy.
The helmet is bigger than the. Yeah,
my daddy used to say knee deep on the grasshopper.
Right,
you
yeah.
know, and I mean, some of these guys, and there's some ladies on the team as well. Some young ladies out there, and they're giving it their all and having fun, and it's just amazing
that's what it's
to
all
watch.
about.
It's going to be a great day.
Mark that down on your calendar, November 3rd. Again, the Mountain League Super Bowls, and going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be right here on Team FYN Sports. We'll be live streaming every game on FYNTV.com, but we encourage you to get out there as well and watch it. All right, let's talk about high school football. You know, we talked about basketball schedules have been released. We'll talk about that more in the next couple shows, but we still have a lot of football to play. This week, North Murray at home against Lakeview Fort Oglethorpe, White County at home against Chestatee, Lumpkin County, just going to run through them real quick. Lumpkin County at home against Fannin County, basically playing for that fourth spot, as BKP just mentioned. He'll be there for that one as our Team FYN Sports Game of the Week. Dawson County at home against Cherokee Bluff, Union County at home against Social Circle, Towns County at Lakeview Academy over in Gainesville, Gilmer at Ridgeland, Pickens at Lafayette to wrap up the regular season. Murray County has the bye this week, and the Murphy Bulldogs at Roseman on Friday night. And, man, I tell you what, just another big slew of games. We already know the Dragons got it won. Union County, they still got to play it out. A couple of these games in here, but there's some meaningful games here now going into week, I guess the 9th game for most teams, or I guess week 10, if you look at it from a bye week standpoint. But what stands out to you on this list?
Well, BKB is going to the right game. That one's going to be full of emotion, as they all are. But that one is the one right now that really means something.
Right.
You've got Lumpkin County, who's on the border. Fannin County on the border, as BKP says, backing into that 4th spot. It's going to be a big accomplishment for Fannin and Coach Cheatham if they can back into that spot.
Sure.
First-year head coach, new program across the board, basically, as far as getting on board with what he's teaching, changing the offense up. That's going to be a very, very, very good accomplishment for a first-year coach coming in and turning the program around.
Sure.
And that I'm looking forward to that game, seeing the final results, and of course BKP highlights and all that. The other one that really stands out to me is going to be the Pickens Lafayette game.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say, well, they're region champs, it don't mean nothing.
Right.
It does. It does to the Dragons. It does to the Dragon Nation. That undefeated season, it just is. They're already set apart.
Sure, it's never happened. First of all,
Exactly.
in school history. So that's something else.
Of course, the media attention and everything you've talked about this morning. The Team FYN. Team FYN Sports. It's happening. I'm sorry.
That too. Team
of the
FYN.
week for Fox 5, and the game of the week this past Friday, Fox 5. AJC. Interviews with Coach Parker. They're putting North Georgia on the map.
Right.
And that's good to see for them. And I'm anxious to see, as BKP said, are you going to keep these guys, for lack of a better word, going to get the swelling out of their head there and
Gotta
get them back into football play.
Right.
Focus is going to be the big thing, and Coach Parker's going to have that.
Absolutely,
I'm looking for. I'm not going to predict a win because if you knew who was going to win, you wouldn't play.
Right.
But I'm looking for a good win from the Dragons to just go ahead and make school history once again.
And I've always said it, the most dangerous team is a team with nothing to lose. And from a Lafayette standpoint, this is their playoff. They have a chance to host. This is only one of 3 road games basically for the Dragons all season. So they've got them coming to Lafayette's place. Lafayette, this is their playoff. This is a chance to make a statement. You got to think, with Ridgeland being ranked in the top 10 with the 2 losses coming into the game Friday night, they were the ranked team, not Pickens. It was Ridgeland. But now I think folks probably around the area saw, I think they were waiting to see, is this Dragon team legit? I know they were 8-0, but who have they beaten and all that? But they beat a legitimate football team on Friday night that was ranked. So I would expect that the Dragons would probably haven't looked at the rankings. They may be in there this morning, but I would assume they would crack that top 10 and move in there. So obviously an opportunity for Lafayette. And what about Dawson County? One of the teams we're going to talk a lot about Union obviously in the next week or two because and as BKP said in 2 weeks, I think that's definitely going to be the game of the week. Rabun County, a state finalist last year, and Union County more than likely going to be undefeated. Assuming they take care of business this week. That sets up to be a huge game, but the Dawson County Tigers as well are a team. They're only lost, a 3-point loss to the University of GAC. They're a team, Sid Maxwell head coach, that could certainly make a run when they get into the postseason.
Right. Well, there's 3 coaches in our coverage area, and of course 2 coaches in the area and 1 out that I've known for a very long time. Coach Shaw at Rabun. Mm-hmm. Coach Cheatham, actually 4 coaches. Coach Cheatham from Fannin, Coach Maxwell with Dawson. Then, of course, you can't help but, go with Coach Allison at Union. I've known those 4 coaches 15 years or longer. And
former referee, by the way, in case you're just now joining us.
Yes, former official, Georgia High School official for 18 years. So I've got an opportunity to see a bunch of these coaches and how they coach their team.
Right.
And they're all holding true year after year after year of taking. Some schools have athletes that I'm not going to say subpar, but you've got superstar athletes. Every player on the team's an athlete.
Right.
Number one, or they wouldn't be there. But you've got superstar athletes that just can go D1 right now. Some of them in the 10th grade. But these 4 coaches bring these guys up to the level that they are now and beyond.
Right.
Beyond Union County, 8-0.
Right.
Correction, I think maybe 9-0. I'll have to look that up again and make sure my mind went blank. But undefeated.
Undefeated, yeah.
Dawson with the 1 loss to GAC. You've got Fannin, who's playing for basically their championship
Playoff
game,
spot,
playoff
right?
spot,
Yep.
and then you've got Coach Shaw up there that's trying to knock out Coach Allison. He's, like I said, both of them sitting right there at the top of the region.
Right.
Great coach. Coach Shaw's at Flowery Branch.
Built
Brought
that program into a winner.
into a dominant program. Came to Rabun. He's done the same thing there. The man wins everywhere he goes. Of course, he had his sons, Connor Shaw and Jabo Shaw, both played at the collegiate level. Connor Shaw is on injured reserve still, if I'm read it correctly the other day. He's in the NFL. Yeah. So he knows how to produce athletes and win ball games, and that's going to be a game.
Yeah.
But that's next week.
That's
worry
next
about
week.
this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
The game with Social Circle on paper should be a win for Union. Dawson's game is going to be really, really tough. I mean, they're dominating everyone as well.
Right, yeah.
So that's going to be a good ball game.
Murphy, too. We talked about Murphy as well, going across state lines. Yeah.
Murphy is amazing. Their quarterback is pushing close to 1,000 yards rushing. They've got over 2,500 rushing yards on the season.
Wow.
That's pretty much
Speaking of dominant, yeah, exactly. Murphy has definitely been.
Coach Gentry, 400th victory.
Yeah.
Here recently. I mean, winning as
congratulations
active,
to
yes,
by the way,
winning as active coach in North Carolina.
Right.
And
we've got him right here in our backyard, so I mean, it's awesome to see those guys. We're about out of time on this week's show. Obviously, we've had a very action-packed hour for you. We hope you've enjoyed it. I know we have, and we'll see you next week. Obviously, Coach's shows, Union County Panther Talk, 6:30 on Mondays on our Facebook Live, and then Pickens on Tuesday, Fannin on Wednesday, Gilmer on Thursday, all three of those at 7 p.m. on our Facebook Live, and also archived as well on demand, FYNTV.com. Luther, thanks for joining us. Were you going to hit the road with the Bobcats on Friday night, I guess?
I will be heading to Ridgeland.
There we go. Hopefully, Gilmer
28
again.
minutes down the road. Well, up the road.
Right, I was going to say, good place to watch a football game. Hopefully the Bobcats, who continue to improve a little bit, that hopefully they'll show some good motivation
One
there.
quick note, senior quarterback David Smith left the game on Friday night.
Right.
Don't have any updates. Don't know why he left. I'm not sure if it's injury or just they wanted to get freshman Seth Darling some playing time. I'm not sure. But Kobe Stonecipher. Mm-hmm. Best name I've ever. I just love. I don't know why Stonecipher. I could just
I remember that name from youth ball when he was
Gilmer Player of the Week.
Right.
He had 4 carries for 15 yards. Yep. Gilmer Player of the Week. I want to just highlight him real quick in
Absolutely.
that. He's listed as a defensive back.
Right.
And he's in there running the ball. He's getting better, stronger, faster. He's a future running back for the varsity team and just doing a great job.
Stonecipher, future middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears with a name like that. So no doubt, congratulations there.
That's when you miss Keith Jackson.
Right, yeah. Whoa, Stone's here, exactly. On that note, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. We appreciate you guys being with us. And again, just a reminder, next week, same time, same place right here. This has been the instant replay for our entire staff. For Josh behind the glass here today, for BKP and for Luther, I'm Dave Garner saying so long, everyone. And just a reminder, if it happens in North Georgia, we're all over it. We'll see you next week.